Hello everybody, Mike the Maniac here, and today I'm going to give you a little tutorial on how to set up a virtual machine for your GameMaker Studio 2 game. Now, before I get into this, I'm going to explain a few things. Number one, the reason why you might want to consider building for Linux is that Linux is becoming a big platform. The new Valve Steam Deck uses Linux, and overall, just supporting more platforms is just kind of good for your game, and supporting Linux, definitely a good go. Linux is definitely going to be the future of computing, in my opinion. I don't expect everyone to switch to it, but I think for gaming, Linux is going to be a lot more appealing in the coming years. So you might just want to consider building for Linux and just, have that potential of reaching a wider player base. Now, I'm going to assume you know a few things about GameMaker Studio 2 and about building your game for this video, so I'm not going to explain some of the basics. And obviously, if you have a question about virtual machines and Linux, I am not your guy. I am not your guy, okay? With all that out of the way, let's get right into it. So, we're going to go to my second monitor here. Obviously, you're going to want to go to this page. The link for this page is going to be in the description. And obviously it's going to tell you a bunch of stuff. It's going to tell you even all the packages you're going to need to set up on Linux. Next, you're going to want to download VirtualBox. Just go to virtualbox.org, just click that download button, and should be Windows host, and it's going to ask you to download it. Same with Ubuntu. You're going to go to ubuntu.com, go to download, and you can get the latest version, but I just recommend getting the one in green that says LTS. Most likely that's going to be, LTS stands for long-term support. It's going to be supported for a while, and most likely it's just going to be working fine for GameMaker. So you're just going to hit download, and it should do a little download prompt. Again, I already have it, so I don't need to download it again. Now, I assume you know how to install a program. If you need help installing VirtualBox, I'm sure there's tutorials out there for that. But anyways, we're just going to fire up VirtualBox right here. As you can see, I already have a VM already made, but we're just going to create a new virtual machine. Alrighty, we're going to call this Video VM. Now, if you call it something like Ubuntu, it's most likely going to recognize that this is for a Linux VM. So just hit Linux down there if it doesn't recognize that. Just hit next. Now it's going to select 124 megabytes or 1 gigabyte of RAM. Obviously, if you have 8 gigs of RAM, you're going to want to do 2048 megabytes. But if you have 16 gigs like I have in my laptop or more, just go to 4096. That's going to allot 4 gigs of RAM, only going to be about 1/4 of that 16. And for 8 gigs, 2 gigs is just going to be 1/4 of the 8 gigs, and you don't want to put too much stress on your computer. Now, Ubuntu is very demanding, so if you want to download a distribution like Xubuntu, or there might even be one called Ubuntu, there's other tutorials for that. I'm going to link one to Xubuntu down below. But essentially it's just the same. I'm just gonna go with full fat Ubuntu just because, it's easiest. Alrighty, now we're gonna do a virtual hard disk. Just create it right now. Just do the standard VDI virtual disk box image, and just do dynamically located. Then just keep this at the recommended. For me, it's like 12 gigabytes. It might recommend 10. Just whatever. You don't need a lot of storage. Alrighty, now we have this VM. What we're going to do is, selecting this VM, we're going to hit Settings. We're going to go into Network. This is very important. You need to select Bridged Adapter. You need to select that. For storage, we're going to go, number one, System. Up that processor to 2. And then for storage, just hit this little disk right here. And go to IDE Secondary Device right beside it. Just hit Choose a Disk File. And then you should be able to select your ISO you downloaded from Ubuntu. And just hit OK. And then all of this should be ready to go, and we should hit Start. Alrighty, let me drag that over here. Let me just enlarge this. It's not going to enlarge the screen, but just bear with me for a minute. Going to check the disk, and then we're going to boot into the install page of Ubuntu. Alrighty, we're in Ubuntu, it's still loading, and here we go, the install page. Alrighty, we're gonna hit this install Ubuntu button. I'm sure if you've installed Linux before, you just know how this goes. Select your keyboard layout and language and all that stuff. And then for our purposes, I'm gonna recommend the minimal installation. It's just gonna install the web browser and basic utilities. This is honestly all you need. You don't need Office software, games, or anything else. And then just to, I would recommend doing this just to like your graphics and your Wi-Fi card, internet, all just pass through seamlessly. I just install third-party software. Just tick that box, and it should be good to go. You shouldn't have to tweak around with much of that. Just hit continue. Alrighty, when you get to this page, just hit erase disk and install Ubuntu. It's going to do nothing to your Windows machine. This is a virtual machine. It's that virtual hard disk we created. So just keep this checked and just hit install now. And then you're going to get to this page, just hit continue. It's a fresh install. We're not replacing anything else. Alrighty, now you're going to get to this time zone page. Obviously, I'm in the New York time zone, so just select your time zone wherever, and then just hit continue. Alrighty, time to pick a name. I'm just going to type in Micah because that's my name. Your computer's name, I'm just going to call this Video VM. Username, Micah. I'm just going to keep that. Ubuntu. The password, I'm just going to do Ubuntu. You could even do something like 1234. It's going to tell you it's a weak password, but this Ubuntu doesn't really know that you're setting up a VM. So I'm just going to do Ubuntu. Alrighty. Obviously, if someone has access to this virtual machine, they most likely already have access to your computer. So you have a bigger security issue than someone accessing this VM. And we're not doing a lot either. Just to make things easy, I'm just going to do login automatically. And then I'm just going to hit continue. And here we go, almost done copying files. It's going to get through this, and then it's going to actually start installing Ubuntu. So I'll come back with you when that is done. And if you want, you can even read the little Ubuntu and canonical propaganda. Alrighty everyone, I hope you had your snack, because that was a long installation. And you're going to need a few more snacks, because there's going to be some more stuff that will take quite a while. But anyways, just hit restart once you get to that screen. Going to tell you to remove the installation medium. I don't know much about VirtualBox, but honestly, here's how I found the solution. Just do the power off machine, and then obviously just check in the settings. Make sure you don't have that in there, that ISO image, and then I just hit start once again. And there we go. Just hit skip on this, just hit next. Do not send system info to canonical. Obviously, they don't really need it, and it's in a VM, so it's probably not really going to be that much use to them. But who knows? If you want to, you can. But honestly, I don't like sending data to anyone. Then privacy, just hit next, and then just hit done. And there you go. You should be on the desktop. Now, I am going to recommend that everyone up their resolution. Go to display. Then go to resolution, and obviously 1920 by 1080, it is not showing up for me, but honestly, you don't need that much. It's just a VM, so I just go with a 1440 by 900. Honestly, that's big enough. Then what we're going to want to do is, all this stuff is showing up. If you restart the VM, you probably won't see any of this. You'll probably just see like the terminal in the browser. But just open the terminal. And then, oh, software update. We don't need this. Just hit remind me later. Alrighty, anyways, we're going to go back to this page, and I'm just going to pull this over to my second monitor. And what we're going to do is, first we're going to type in the command sudo apt-get and then update. Oh, update. Now it's going to ask for your password. It's only going to ask for this once, and then you're not going to need it again. And should be updating all the packages it needs. It's always good to do this before you start messing around, just to make sure you have everything up to date. Now, if I go back to this web page, you're going to see this command right here, sudo apt-get install, and then the package name. And we're going to install all of these packages. Honestly, if you wanted to, you could just open this up in Firefox. In fact, I'm just going to test, make sure the internet works. Google.com, pretty sure it is. It's loading Mozilla. Yep, just testing. Just close all the tabs. Alrighty. You can pull that page up, but honestly, I just have 2 monitors, so I'm just going to keep it off to the side. So we're going to do sudo apt-get install, and then the first package we need to install is build-essential. This one's going to take a while, so hit yes, and then go get your snack, because it kind of takes a while. It gets a lot of stuff. Actually, it seems to be going pretty fast. Alrighty, it should be about done. There we go. Now the next package we need is, just hit the up arrow just to get that command back. And then this next package we're going to need is open ssh-server. Hit Y to continue. This one again I think takes a little while. Oh, nope. Seems to be pretty much going right through, powering through this time. Alrighty, after that, the next package we're going to need is Clang. Yes. You have to hit Y for yes on most of these. Some of the times it won't have you do that, mainly once you get towards the end of the package list. And again, I think this one's going to take a while. Alrighty, so we just installed Clang, and sorry that you could not see the full console before. I have fixed that now. Alrighty. So the next package we're going to install after Clang is lib ssl, am I typing today, -dev. Yes to continue. I believe this one does not take that long. I think I'm wrong again. Oh no, it seems to be going fast. Alrighty, here we go. After that, lib, and then xrandr -dev. And again, hit yes. Alrighty. Now again, we're going to get lib xxf86 vm-dev. Then hit yes. Alrighty. After that, we're going to get lib open al-dev. Yes. And then after that, lib gl1-dev. Oh, gl1-mesa-dev, sorry. Yes. Alrighty, and then this one is gonna be lib glu1-mesa-dev. That one does not require us to hit yes. And then we are getting towards the bottom. We need zlib 1g-dev. Sorry, I'm a little slow at looking at this stuff. And then for the last one, we need lib curl 4-open ssl-dev. And then hit yes, and then continue. Alrighty, so there we go. Let me just clear this console. And now let me take you back on over to my main display, and we are going to open up GameMaker Studio 2. Alrighty, just open up your project. So you should get something that looks like this. Obviously, if you want, you can go into your game options and tweak it for Ubuntu. Just have a few things right here. You can put a maintainer email if you want. Just standard stuff. Now let's get into setting up the VM. So what we're going to want to do here is we're going to go to this little button right here at the top. Looks like a little crosshair. And you're going to go to platform, select Ubuntu, And then obviously there should be no devices right here. Let me remove this device. And that's from a previous video where this failed dramatically. I'm gonna hit add new device. And then obviously you can type in the display name. Let's just call it, I'm just gonna call it video. And now we're gonna go back to our virtual machine and we're gonna type in another command, IPADDR show, and it's gonna show you your local IP address. Don't worry, you cannot find my location or hack me using this address. And it's going to be this one down here. So you see where it says 1 and 2. You're going to want to go to 2, and then this first iNet, it's going to be right here. Just going to highlight that so it's easy to find. And then we are going to go back to GameMaker Studio 2, and we are going to type that in for the host name. So 192.168.1.90. Then for the username, obviously what you made the username in the VM, which is Micah in my case, and then the password, which is, for my case, Ubuntu. Could be 1234 or whatever. Just show password if you want to make sure you got it correct. And then what we're going to do right here, we're just going to hit apply. Then we're going to hit test connection. And it says connection successful. Alrighty. Now, I'm just going to select this device we created, video. And then output, I just recommend doing a regular VM unless you're actually going to compile a build, then you would choose YYC. But if you want to test, just hit VM. Obviously, I think it's a good idea to clean out your project cache as you do building and stuff like that. I ran into some pretty weird errors by not doing that. Then we're just going to hit play, and we're going to see if this opens up in our VM. Aha, and there we go. Here's the game. Now you may notice some performance issues. Obviously with my game, there are some major performance issues in this VM. This is something that I'm going to have to work out, but I can disable the lighting, and as you can see, it runs just fine. And for my game, I can toggle the stats, and I can see all this. And let's just toggle full screen, see how that works. Alrighty, that seems to be working good on this VM. I go to another room. As you can see, lighting works just fine. The reason why it's very slow in that other room is I think it has something to do with my day and night cycle system. And then as you can see, boom, boom. We can play our game inside of the VM, which is very cool. Alrighty. Now, what about making an actual build for the game? You can run this on the VM and do some testing and stuff like that, but what about actually building the game? Well, let's switch back over. And if you have not ever built a game, you just go up to build and then create executable. Now if you have Windows selected as your device, it's going to ask you to if you want a package installer or package it as a .zip. But for Linux, it's always just going to do a .zip. So hit create executable. I'm just going to call this video build. Now obviously this is saving on your Windows device, but it's using the host connection to build it through the VM. Here it is right here, and if we go into the zip, you can see it's not a standard Windows executable. It just says here file, but if you were to download this on Linux, and let me actually show you. Alrighty, I'm on this super secret web page. If I am to download the file on my Linux VM, I can go into downloads. Here it is, and then I can extract it right here. And then this right here is the executable. There is an icon image. I still don't really know how all this on Linux works, but just run the game, and as you can see, we're running it again inside the virtual machine. So I hope this video helped you all set up your VM to compile your game on Linux. Like I said, I'm obviously not the best person to come to for advice, but if it's something simple, I can probably help you out. If you can't establish a test connection, most likely you did not choose that bridged adapter in the network settings for your VM. I actually made this mistake while recording this video earlier, and it set up problems along the road. I could not get my game to compile at all. So I had to completely reinstall the VM and of course re-record this entire tutorial. So you may find some errors like that. Obviously, I'm a beginner at this, and I'm not even a Linux expert, but I kind of know my way around it. So if you have any other advice, I'd suggest looking on the Yo-Yo Games forums, the Yo-Yo Games, the GameMaker subreddit, and stuff like that. I'm sure lots of people would be happy to help. Far more experienced than people than me. But anyways, I hope this helped you all, and yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I'm gonna play my game right now. Oh wow, this is so fun. Have a good day, guys.